Hi guys, gikan tang duty ganiha karon kay wala lain buhaton kundi tanaw ta og videos or anything makatunta like YouTube videos. So karon is ang atong buhaton is to react and to see unsay regarding sa atong editing skill para mo improve ug mo handset ta pag-ayo sa atong mga umabot nga vlogging. Okay, let's go and let's roll the intro. Una na itong buhaton is search sa YouTube on how to edit a YouTube video in Davinci Resolve. Atong gamiton nga application for editing is Davinci Resolve kay nasa free. So wa kay bayaran, free ra. Kung mag Premiere Pro ta, bayad ta. Nasa free pero 14 days until 14 days ra ko to. So arita sa Davinci Resolve kay free ra until kano sa nimo gamiton. So karon start ta. So kani na si Think Media sa YouTube. Kani atong tanawon. Let's go.
And this shot right here, we can see that once I open it up, this is my main talking head video. So this is our A-roll. So I'm going to click that one, drag it into A-roll, make another folder called B-roll, and all this other stuff is my B-roll. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that into there. Congratulations, you've now organized your footage. Now we can move on to step 2, which is importing into Davinci Resolve. Click on this icon to open up Resolve. It should bring you to this page where all your different projects live. Now, of course, we don't have any projects yet, so we're going to click on New Project and give it a name. So I'm just going to put, again, PB&J tutorial. We're going to then click on Create, and it should bring us to this rather terrifying looking screen. Now, if yours doesn't look exactly like mine, just go ahead to the bottom and make sure you select the Media tab. Now, just a side note, these different pages allow you to organize your project depending on your needs. For this tutorial, we're primarily going to stick around in the edit page, but first, make sure you're on the media page, and this is where we're going to import our footage. The first thing we want to do is drag this folder into our media pool. This is where we can access all of our clips as we edit. And once we do that, as you can see, it imports our clips. However, it's all disorganized. There's actually a quick fix for this. So what I'm going to do is click Command Z just to undo my last move. And instead of dragging it here, I'm going to bring it right underneath where it says Master. And if I do that, as you can see, it keeps all of our folder structure the same. Just a little pro tip for you. So now we've imported our footage, we want to go down to the Edit tab. This is basically where we're going to live for most of our video editing purposes. Up on the top left, you can see all of our footage and it's nicely organized. We have our main folder, our A-roll, and our B-roll. In order to view and play back our clip, let's go ahead and double click on our A-roll. As you can see, it brings it up into this Viewer tab, and we can play this back by pressing this play button here or pressing the space bar. Now, as you can see, I'm still setting up. So what we can actually do is scrub through this footage if we don't want to watch the whole thing in real time, just by clicking on this little handle here, and we can just kind of move it and see where we get to the actual action of our clip. In order to edit this clip, we need to drag it into our timeline. And to do that, you can basically click anywhere here on this viewer, drag it down right here, and boom, we have our A-roll in our timeline. I'm going to mess with the zooming of the timeline just so I can see the entire clip on our screen. Now that is one way we can import our A-roll into a timeline. Another way, and it might be a little bit more effective, is if you use the player. Basically, if I only want a certain section of my video, I can scrub through right here and click I on my keyboard to set an in point, go through towards the end, basically to the end of my video, click O as an out point. And if I drag and drop this, basically it is already kind of trimming the beginning and the end as I bring it into the timeline. This is super handy if you have lots of B-roll and you only want a certain section. You don't have to drag the entire thing into your timeline. Now, similarly, we can actually scrub through our timeline by clicking on this little orange tab and we can play it back, scrub through, find the points we want to work with. And that brings us to step 2, which is to cut down our A-roll footage. So playing back this footage, as we can see, I make a mistake at the beginning, but then I get into the main video right here and perform a good take. So what we want to do is we truly want the video to begin right here. And to do that, we can go over to the left side of this clip, click on it, and drag it all the way towards that beginning. That will basically remove all the other footage just to this point. But as you see, if we were to play this video back, we have a bunch of blank space. So if you click on that empty space, click delete, this brings it to the very beginning, and now our video begins right here. Continue to play the video. I have this empty gap that I want to remove the middle out of. So how do you do that? The first thing we want to click on is our blade tool. So move your attention right up here, click on this little razor, and then we can click and make a cut right here. As you see, there's a little perforated edge. So I want to cut it right here where I take too long with the bread tie, and I want it to end right there. So now I selected this little clip right in the middle that I want to remove. Just go ahead and click delete, and again, click on the middle, delete. And now we've removed that inner bit and made it a lot more snappy. And a handy tip is to look at our waveform when we're editing our talking head video. So as you can see, this little audio here, it gets a little quiet, it gets very low when I'm not talking, and it gets much louder when I do talk. So I can kind of use that as a guide of when I'm talking and what parts I want to remove. And if you want to get more precise on where you're cutting, just go up here to this zoom in tool and you can get really fine tuned and start making your tweaks right here. And you can also zoom out to see your entire video across your timeline. So now I'm just gonna go through this entire video, cutting the things that I don't want in the video, and that way we'll have a nice snappy edit. You'll notice as I'm editing this A-roll, I'm not actually using that blade tool. Instead, I'm using a keyboard shortcut such as Command B to make those cuts as I go along the video. These little tricks help you speed up your workflow, and it's definitely looking into if you plan to get into video editing.
A few moments later.
So now the video is much shorter and snappier. However, we have these harsh jump cuts in the middle of our footage, and it looks rather unpolished. Boring. So to bring this video to life, we want to add some B-roll to give more perspective to our video. So in order to start placing our B-roll, I'm going to find a section where I think we could use some visuals. And right here, I listed that we'll need bread, peanut butter, and jelly. So I've actually shot all of that in our B-roll folder. So go up to the top left and click on B-roll, and we have a variety of different shots we can choose from. I'm going to click on this first clip here, and if I scroll to the very end, I have this nice panning shot that shows all the ingredients laid out. So what I'm going to do is find a good endpoint when I start on the camera movement, right about here. Click I on the keyboard and wait for it to end. Right here, I'll click O, and now I can basically do the same thing, import this into our timeline. Now, as you see, when I brought in the video like I did before, it also brings in audio track, and we don't necessarily want to have audio with our B-roll. So instead, what I'm going to do is click on this video only icon. I'm going to click hold and drag this right above where we want our cut to be. And if you bring it to a track above your A-roll timeline, you can move this around without affecting your A-roll clip. And now, once I play it back, you'll need for this dish. Well, you're gonna need some bread, some peanut butter, and your favorite jelly. It's already just a much more engaging video right off the gate. So continue to play the video. We're going to run across our jump cut. Basically, this is where I've cut out all the fluff of me trying to fiddle around with the bread tie. So we actually want to cut away and show a new perspective and not have that obvious cut there. If you download this footage and follow along, you actually will see that I have a different camera angle. So if I go to ZVE10, A-roll, we'll see we have a top-down perspective of this entire video. So I'm going to go through and find the exact moment when I basically have untied the bread, and we're going to place that over our jump cut. Again, I'm going to click I and O and drag just the video right above this cut. Now, when I play it back, so let's first untie our bread bag. Make sure you leave the end piece in there. No one wants that. Now it's just a lot smoother, even though I've actually completely omitted me messing around with the bread tie. When you look through this footage, you may notice that some footage is 60 frames per second. This is shot at a higher frame rate so I could later slow it down in editing. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to grab this clip right here, and let's say I want this jelly spread to be slow motion. So I'm going to select my in and out points. I'm going to drag this onto the timeline as B-roll. I'm then going to right click and select change clip speed. And then I can go over to the speed tab and slow it down all the way down to 40%. And once I click that, you'll see that the clip is now very slow motion, very cinematic looking. I can then change how long I want the clip to last for. But that will basically take your 60 frames per second and make it 24, which plays back as slow motion. So as I place B-roll on this video, I'm just going to listen through this entire video, and when I have a good visual in mind or something that I shot, I'm going to place it where it seems to fit. So as an example, when I first played this clip, in this video, we're going to show you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I think it would be good to show a visual of the final product. So I'm going to reach up to this top clip, and I have this nice panning shot. So I'm going to click I right about here, and that should be enough. I'm going to click O. Again, drag the video clip only, and then I'm just going to time it when it seems right when I say the word peanut butter and jelly sandwich. In this video, we're going to show you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So let's start. I'm going to cut right there, just kind of trim the ends. And now with that in place, let's take a look at our edit. In this video, we're going to show you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So let's start off with the ingredients. Already just much more engaging to watch. I'm going to do this exact same process throughout the entire video, choosing angles that is best going to show the action. So I've just gone through and placed B-roll throughout the entire video. So let's go ahead and let's watch it back. In this video, we're going to show you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So let's start off with the ingredients you'll need for this dish. Well, you're going to need some bread, some peanut butter, and your favorite jelly. Okay, so the added B-roll definitely does elevate the overall product, and I think it does two things for us. Number one, it just shows the overall clarity of the process of making the sandwich. And two, I was able to actually trim more fluff from this. By adding the B-roll, I could get away with cutting some things that I wouldn't have if I were just using A-roll. So overall, I think we're in a much better place.
That's it. So nakumpleto na to ang tutorial. Nasa mga gipaspas pero naka-catch up na to, and ang basic diha is sa pagkat unsaon pag angle unsaon siya pag tracing. So at least na nakaton ta gamay pa lang. So daghan pa ta, napatay room for improvement. So ang kuan lang niya is daghan siya mga camera. Ang sa to is isa lang. So maayo og natin nakaton karadlaw. By the way, thank you ni Think Media na iyatong gatagan og tutorial. Kung gusto mo tan-aw is naayang title is how to edit a YouTube video in Davinci Resolve start to finish. So narap tay portion nga gikat dito nga gamay ra kay niya kita daghan siya. So maximum niya is 35 minutes. So ato ra gi gamay para dili kayo giato ra gi 12:55 minutes. So so mao na, let's end the video. Thank you.